Well, the day before launched, and I played it, and it's still a fake game. In the days after it launched, it's becoming abundantly clear that they just bought and flipped a bunch of assets, slapped them together, and launched a game. After putting about 2 hours into this, it was blatantly obvious that it was not something that took them 5 years to create. This is something that they probably threw together in the last 6 months to a year. I was interacting with what felt like cobbled together systems that were barely held together. Now, some players encountered game-breaking bugs or soft locks before even leaving the starting area. Well, I actually made it out into the city, and my first 2 ventures were unsuccessful because the missions are apparently broken. They just didn't work. I couldn't do the things I was supposed to do. And you're seeing now I'm interacting with the incredibly terrible, non-functioning map. I mean, you basically can't do anything other than scroll it around. Anytime you want to check it, you have to sort of get down and pull out an iPad, and all the systems feel as if they have not been touched or tweaked, simply put into the game from an asset store. Now, both times that I went out on my own like this, I was killed by another player simply for being in the game, apparently. So PvP is always on, and anybody who is still playing this game, either for the laughs or the lulz or just to goof off, they're probably just going to do that. They're just going to kill other players because there's not really anything else to do other than go out and try and do very basic missions against, pretty spongy zombies with terrible shooting mechanics. Now, my third venture out, I successfully found these 3 batteries, but they took up my entire inventory space. Now, something to point out about this, the entire time I was doing this, I was having terrible performance in the game. It got a little bit better when we turned the DLSS on, but by and large, the game feels terribly optimized, just not polished at all, which I could overlook that if the game itself was anything close to what was promised. Now, this third venture out where I got the 3 batteries, it glitched out because when I went to turn in the quest, there was no room for the money. So my inventory was full, and he went to give me the money for the quest, and I couldn't do it, okay? Well, we eventually, thankfully, figured it out. I was able to get like a workaround, and I was able to turn in the quest. Now, this was after, I would probably say, a little over 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half of playtime with the game, and it became painfully clear. This is not a game. It feels like a student's first pass at a project, not a game worthy of the most wishlisted game on Steam. Now, in response to the avalanche of negativity and criticism, the Discord mods have temporarily locked the server down, saying that they want to be able to funnel bug reports in from, I guess, the few people that are actually going to give this game a chance, right? But in the wake of that negativity and criticism, the game currently has a 19% on Steam after 17,000 reviews. So at a minimum, at least roughly 20,000 people bought this game, and I think, hopefully all of them have refunded it. More than just locking their Discord and promising a patch in the future, they are apparently removing any semblance of MMO from the Steam page. Now, this is according to PCGamesN.com. This is what they say. As of Friday, December the 8th, the day before, Steam backend has seen a number of updates that include removing certain store tags, the metadata that is used to identify games in specific searches. The open world survival crafts tag has been removed, alongside tags for realistic and free to play. Most tellingly, however, the massively multiplayer Steam tag has been deleted. It makes sense to remove free to play because it's not free to play, it's $40, and originally I think many people thought maybe it was going to be free to play, maybe even in its early access. You would just be able to try it out. Now, if you scroll down on the Steam page, they still have a paragraph that reads as follows. The day before offers players a uniquely reimagined journey into post-apocalyptic open-world MMO survival set in the present day on the U.S. East Coast following a deadly pandemic. Now, you'll see here I was interacting with some alarm system. It's like a mini game where you can see the 4 worn out buttons indicating which 4 buttons are likely used in the code. And I believe it's a process of elimination. Once you put in the right code or the right numbers, it'll tell you in what spot. So I knew now to say, second number is 4, but then it wouldn't let me do it. All of a sudden, the alarm heightened because I guess you only have so much time. Well, you only have so much time, and I couldn't interact with it. This was the second time I encountered one of those alarms on the wall, and the little dot that indicates you can interact with it was there sometimes it wasn't there. Sometimes when it was there, I couldn't interact with it, and then when I finally could, I had mere seconds to mess with it before it kicked me out of, I guess, the minigame. Now, to me, it's very clear after playing this game and looking at all of the other streams and videos, this is not an MMO. It is a barely functioning extraction mode. And PCGamesN.com also noticed that the tags on the game have changed. They said that on Wednesday, December the 6th, before launch, the list of tags for the day before on the Steam page included massively multiplayer. As of this writing on December the 8th, that tag is missing. Now, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they were trying to remove that from the descriptions and the tags. That's what they've promised us. That's why this game was exploding in popularity. It looked too good to be true. But this game is not an MMO, and the only multiplayer elements are basically there's just other people out in the city that can shoot you, and you can obviously team up. And the game runs and feels so awful that surviving a shootout is virtually impossible, let alone how it feels to shoot zombies. There's very little player feedback. You shoot zombies tons of time in the body or the head, and then they finally fall down and die. The ammo economy is terrible and very, very thoughtless. You're actually better off going out into the city with nothing and dying a bunch of times in a row and respawning. They give you 500 coin for that, but the 500 coin, it's barely enough to get you started. You can buy a pistol and some ammo, but the amount of ammo that you have to use on the zombies is absurd, so you're not going to live for very long. And even if you do kill a couple of them and they drop some guns, those guns will probably only have one magazine worth of ammunition. So it just is very clearly something that has not been 5 years in the making. It hasn't been tested out. It's not something that is a game. It's literally a village, like a little town, and then a city, and that's it. They're just these sort of touched together systems that don't seem to really interact with one another. And to capstone all of this, there's a really great thread on Reddit titled, "I present to you the asset flip file dump." It's a really great thread, and it showcases all of the Unreal assets that have been purchased and used. There's nothing wrong with that. However, most of these, if not all of these, have barely been adjusted. One such pack, the American City Pack, has buildings and city streets that I recognized on the Unreal website. They are exact replicas of what ended up in the game, both in the way that the windows and the colors are set up. All of my theories have now officially gone out the window. There was a time where I thought they were doing this. They were sort of faking this game or piecing this game together in a very weird way. I thought they were using some type of AI generative technology, and they were going to try to sell that and say, listen, our game's not complete, but we just wanted to showcase what you could do with these tools. I have no idea what this company intended to do with this. It is clear when they tried to show raw gameplay, remember when they had somebody like over somebody's shoulder recording on like a cell phone and the guy was like at a desk? It's so clear that was fake. That is nowhere in this game. That level of performance and graphical fidelity and gameplay is not present in this game. And if you look at the past videos, all of our instincts about the footage looking faked or fully rendered rather than being raw, all of those instincts and those that almost like that sixth sense that we knew we were looking at something that wasn't real or genuine, we were spot on in that. So those of us that were trying to draw attention to this and we got hate and we were called haters, or like we were trying to beat up this poor dev team, we were exactly right. None of that footage was genuine or real. This game that they launched is nothing close to what they've shown in the past. Like, even saying that sentence, that like it's not close to what they've shown in the past, makes it sound like maybe it's like a Watch Dogs scenario. Remember Watch Dogs, how different it was from the first trailer to now? This is worse than that, because this is something else entirely. It would be like watching a really amazing, driving game trailer, and then when the game finally comes out, you're basically just like driving a horse and buggy through a suburb. Like, that's how vastly different this is from what they originally showed. And what they originally showed is what got all of their notoriety, okay? And this is nothing more than flipped assets, and they're barely strung together. And again, just to make it clear, buying assets is totally fine, but it's very transparent in this situation that they didn't just use the assets to bolster an original idea or game. The assets are the game. Like, I can't stress that enough. That's what this game is. It is literally just you interacting with unreal assets that have been like slapped together. And I have to say, the most surprising part about all of this has been those who have insisted that I was wrong or that other people were wrong about this game. I've had people leave comments or tweets saying, look, see, it's not a fake game. They actually launched the game, so it's not fake. And I find that response to be absolutely absurd. This is, at some level, I think people acting this way, it's truly remarkable to be that persistent in the face of such abundant evidence. But beyond being persistent, it's sadly very much incorrect. The game they showed to all of us, it just felt too good to be true, because it was. The footage and the gameplay always felt fake. Why? Well, because it was fake, and because it is fake. Nothing they showed us up to now has been genuine, and their consistent pattern of dishonesty while posturing as if the truth would come out. It would be comical if it wasn't so pathetic. But they were right about one thing. The truth has come out, and we were right all along about this game, okay? The day before was a fake game and still is. Just because you took assets and duct taped them together and put it in Steam for $40 doesn't negate that claim or criticism. In fact, I believe it confirms that criticism. Whatever is currently available in Steam right now will likely amount to nothing in less than a year's time. I can't see them persisting with this game or trying to fix it. It's not an MMO. It is an extraction mode, and they could patch it and try to make it better so that it actually runs, but at the end of the day, there's nothing compelling here. Even if all of the systems work, even if all of the quests worked, all you're really doing is going out into a city to do very basic missions like get some batteries and come back. And that gives you money. And then you use that money to buy better gear. So the next time you go out, you're stronger. But the game runs so terribly, so poorly. Just basic shooting feels awful. I can't see anybody, even if they were to polish this, I can't see anybody sticking with this. It was supposed to be some massive, awesome, incredible game, and instead, it's a mode. So I want to know what you think. That's what I think. I've been harsh about this game and its developers for a very, very long time. So I wanted to do some sort of a one final concluding thought video. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be future videos about this. They may decide to do some more, or to buckle down, or maybe they pursue funding. I don't see how they could ever turn this around when close to 20,000 people have reviewed and likely refunded your game, and you have less than a 20% score. I just don't see them being able to maintain public interest for patching, testing, or even purchases in the future. They completely shot themselves in the foot. I wouldn't even say shot themselves in the foot. They blew the boat up. Like, there's no way this game is going to be able to float for very long or get support for very long. You need an interested audience to play a game like this and to come over it and help you to polish it, and that's gone. That's non-existent. I can't see anybody continuing or persisting in their Discord or trusting them from this point on. It's clear they have been lying from the beginning, and that's why I found all their self-righteousness and all their insistence about the truth will come out. I just found that to be an absolute mockery of what they have done and what they've betrayed with the public's trust. So these typically roll over into a members-only debrief. That's a great way to support this channel. I do live streams and uploads Monday through Friday, and you can be a part of extra content beyond that for $5 a month. If you don't do memberships on YouTube, make sure you're here all the time. You might get a gifted one. So hit subscribe, hit that bell button, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video.